Do you ever want to dive deeper into the Bible, but you just don't know where to begin or struggle to feel like you even have the time? When you read the Bible, do you get frustrated because you know there is so much more in there? You just have no clue how to get it out. Or maybe you just want to know the Bible better and you're looking for any resource to help. Well, then this is the podcast for you. Welcome to the Context and Color of the Bible podcast. We are two sisters. I'm Erica.
And I'm Veronica.
We love to study the Bible and help others understand it better. When it comes to our own study of Scripture, we have found that in bringing back the context of Scripture, it adds so much to our understanding. It actually adds color to the black and white pages of the text.
So we are doing our first ever listener requested series.
Woo woo!
Do you realize that, Erin?
No, I didn't realize that.
I know, because I think it's Emily. I should have looked. We were talking, I'm pretty sure it's Emily Greer, I think.
Thank you, Emily.
We were talking and kind of communicating because she gets our newsletter and she answered some questions and I was like, hey, if you ever have any ideas. And so she was like, I would love the names of God. So that's what we are going to spend the next 8 to 10 weeks doing. So this is our first listener suggested series. I have also had recently Nehemiah suggested.
Okay, you all need to pray that my husband
gets his act together and will come down to his basement and do Nehemiah with us.
I just need to keep asking him, reminding him.
Yes, but also we did just want to do a shout out to Kathy and Juliana in Montana.
Hello!
Because they are also listening every week. So here's my question for you, Erin. Mm-hmm. When life feels big, what feels bigger than you right now?
Okay, I guess like right now, my problems feel
right.
We just spent an hour before turning on our microphones chatting about parenting, and because your daughter just moved out,
Callie moved out last weekend.
My oldest is dating and looking at college, and there's just a lot going on, and so right now, parenting feels bigger than me.
Yeah.
Feels overwhelming.
Yeah. And truthfully, and here's what I might tell both of our daughters right now, we worry about things that won't even matter a year from now.
Oh, that's so true.
We forget we have the privilege of dwelling in the presence of the Most High God.
I don't think about him that way.
I know. So hopefully after this podcast today.
Right. I will.
You do.
I need to.
This is the name of God that reminds us who is actually in charge. Which truthfully, when we are worrying about our problems, sometimes it's that control that I think I have. And I go, oh, I need to remember, God, you have this under control.
Right. I don't.
Yes. And I don't need to have this under control. So I'm going to start us off learning about Elyon. And I'll spell it for you. Elyon. So, but where we start today is kind of going to feel a surprise. If you would go read Genesis 40, verse 17, please, Erin.
The top basket contained all kinds of pastries for Pharaoh, but the birds came and ate them from the basket on my head.
Okay, truthfully.
Kind of a random verse.
It is. But I'm assuming if you go Genesis, basket, bread, birds, you should quickly know, oh, this is Joseph interpreting the baker's dream, and Joseph's been in prison, the baker and the cupbearer with him, and they both had dreams, and Joseph is going to interpret the dreams. So, did you see the name of God anywhere in that verse?
No, well, I mean, I know because you told me, but no, I did not see it for myself.
I didn't see anything saying God Most High in there. But instead, you saw the word top or uppermost.
The top basket.
The top basket. Looking at that in Hebrew is actually the word Elyon. Because Elyon is not just a title, God Most High. It's also a position word. It can mean highest, uppermost, or elevated. It can describe physical height, but it can also describe rank or supremacy. And so because that physical position is going to keep popping up as we look at these other verses. Because what I want you to realize when it comes to this name for God, when we look at that position, we need to be reminded there is no one higher.
He's the top.
He's the top. He's that top breadbasket. Yeah, he's not the top breadbasket. It's not God's. It's not being used as God's name there, but that's what that means. It is. There's nothing higher than that one. And so as we think about this, now we will look and see where it is first used as God's name. And this is going to be Genesis 14, verse 18. This is after Abraham has gone and he has rescued Lot. Lot was kidnapped along with some of other countrymen. And Abraham took his whole fighting household, which was like 300 and some fighting men, and they saved Lot, all these other people, and then Melchizedek comes out. If you'll read 14, verse 18.
And Melchizedek, the king of Salem and a priest of God Most High, brought Abraham some bread and wine.
Okay, thank you. So we have Elyon, El being God, and then Elyon, Most High. So Abraham has just defeated those kings, and so you have power on display right now. And Melchizedek says, you might be great, you did some powerful things, but blessed be Abram by God Most High. Abraham, you have been blessed by this God who possesses heaven and earth. Because kings often think they run the world.
Yes.
And they rule the world. That has been like that for centuries, and it will continue to be as long as Jesus is not on the throne. But in this case, Elyon reminds us that God outranks them all. Because if you think about it, not only back in that culture did they have kings, and kings have continued forever, but you also in that ancient Near East world had a world filled with gods. We've talked about this. We've talked about Egypt had 500 gods. There was Canaanite gods. I mean, think about it. We have Greek gods and Roman gods. That's always plural, and there's always numerous gods. So when you think about it that way, and you go, okay, these gods were often linked to mountains. Their temples were often on high places because height equals power. So we're back to that position of like the breadbasket.
Oh, is that why thrones were always
probably
high up, or like on the dais? Is that what it's called? They would eat. Interesting.
Probably. I don't know. I didn't see that in my research, but
that would make sense.
Because then you're looking down on everyone.
Yeah.
So we know every nation, every city, every territory had its own little god. We've talked about God went into Egypt and he had an incredible showdown.
Amazing.
With those Egyptian gods. I teach Bible classes to tweens and teens, and I just did this a couple weeks ago. It was so much fun.
I bet.
But so we had God going against the Egyptian gods, and he comes out as the Most High God. Then you can go ahead to Elijah on Mount Carmel, where he battles the gods. And again, God shows up in an incredible way. He doesn't just, oh yeah, my offering started on fire. It was like God went, oh, I'm going to take everything, including the water. And so we know that gods are territorial. We've talked about this in Jonah. When Jonah gets on the boat, he tells the sailor he's running away from God, and they don't really seem to care. Because their gods back then were local or centralized to little areas. And Jonah was like, oh, yeah, my God's the God of the land and the sea. So he's a little different than I'm running away from him. And that's why this storm is here. And it terrifies the sailors. And so we see this then of God is coming out as he battles these other gods, that he is the Most High. There is no rival to him. He doesn't have any borders that limit him, and there's no political powers that we're seeing that outrank him.
Hence, Daniel is filled with like his, I'm trying to think of how to say it, but like you constantly are reminded in the book of Daniel.
Imagery?
He's over everything. Mm-hmm. He's the one in control of the nations and the kingdoms.
Mm-hmm. And so you just see this. This is where these next couple of weeks as we do this, we're going to be jumping throughout Scripture going, here, make these connections, put these stories together. Because what we're going to see is Israel is small. Israel is a very small, that piece of land is tiny.
It's like the size of New Jersey.
Yeah. It's really small to all our New Jersey listeners.
Sorry. Nothing wrong with being small. It's small.
But what we're going to see is their God is not. And we've talked about when we've gone through the Daniel series with Erica's husband, we talked about Israel is like a mouse nation. It really was not threatening. Because you have those great big cat nations we talked about, Babylon and Assyria and Egypt, and you have the big cats who are doing damage and taking over and fighting each other constantly. But if you go, okay, we got a mouse nation, a cat nation, well, then Israel's God is that mighty lion. And I
like that picture.
I like that picture too. You can have cats. You can have little household cats.
I'll take my lion. Thanks.
So you just start to go, okay, as we get into these names of God, you're going to go, there's so much here. And so because we did truthfully just wrap up Deuteronomy in real time, Erica and I sitting here talking, I did want to bring up a couple Deuteronomy connections.
Of course.
Deuteronomy 28:1 tells us that God sets his people high above the nations. So you have that wordplay coming in again of most high. Israel, his people is going to be set high above all the other nations. But you also have, that was Deuteronomy 28 verse 1. Deuteronomy 32 verse 8, you have the Most High who divides the nations. So as we see, God is most high, but he puts his people most high, and he's in control of geography, nations, history. He's not a frail power. When we look at him, we go, that's a steady sovereignty of someone who is consistent and in charge of everything. And truthfully, what actually got me on picking this particular name of God was Psalm 91. He who dwells in the shelter of the Most High. So we have to hit on a couple Psalms at least. Because Elyon is used 53 times in the Old Testament. 30 of them happen in the Psalms.
Oh.
And so as you go through the Psalms, and I've been seeing the Psalms popping up in just different parts of my life lately, it's like, oh, there's that word. There's that name of God. And it just kind of goes, ooh, I want to start paying more attention. Because you do have Psalm 91. He who dwells in the shelter of the Most High. You have David in Psalm 57, verse 2, says he cries out to the Most High God when he's been fleeing Saul. So it's not just God is, he's positionally above everyone. He's supreme, outranking all those other gods. It also shows us that he's a protective place.
You know, it's interesting because like you do want to go. When we're complaining, we want to go to the boss. Like, who's your manager? Who's your owner?
Who's over you?
Who's over you? And at that moment, I just like David had nobody he could go to. Saul was king. I'm going to go to the Most High. It's interesting
I'm going to go to someone above you.
Yeah, that David used that phrase right there in his life. I need to be reminded, Saul, you have someone above you. My God, your God is above even you, O King, and I will cry out to him. I think I need to be reminded of that when I'm frustrated with life.
Yes.
You know, like, what's going on? I need to cry out to the Most High God, who's over everything.
All of it. Because he is that protective place. Because if I cry out to him, then I can have peace knowing he's heard. Peace and comfort knowing, okay, you are in control. I don't feel like anything's in control right now. I feel like the world is spinning out of control and just spiraling down. But I can rest in God, you're allowing it. You're seeing it. So as you see Elyon, don't just think that supreme ruler who outranks everyone. That is true. But he's also your safety, your dwelling place. Because Psalm 91, the sages say Moses wrote Psalm 91 while in that cloud during Exodus 24. So Israel I just taught this to my class on Tuesday. Israel had just entered the covenant with God. Moses, Aaron, Nadab, Abihu, and the 70 elders go up and eat in God's presence. And then Moses goes a little bit farther in that cloud. The glory of God descends on Mount Sinai. And Moses goes in there for 40 days. And so the sages say, I can't tell you if that's true or not. Moses wrote Psalm 91. But that secret place of the Most High, the shelter of the Most High, there's a place of rest above the chaos.
I love that picture.
I do too.
That is we need that.
I do. I think so too. When you just go, this world just feels out of control. I can have peace. Knowing, God, you set up kings, Daniel 2, you set up kings and depose them. You give wisdom to the wise and knowledge to the discerning, and going, okay, God, you're guiding me. You're walking with me through this. You might be the Most High God, but yet you're with me. Because here's the thing, though. Psalm 82 tells us that the false gods will fall. And so I love that picture of, okay, God's on most high, but those false gods might seem like they're on high,
Right.
but they will fall. Because we also have then the prophets reminding us of that. Isaiah 10 says Assyria boasts, but God humbles them. Boom! That mighty cat nation is no match for that mighty lion.
Nope.
Daniel 4, Nebuchadnezzar ultimately has to confess that God's dominion is eternal. And he acknowledges who the Most High is. Isaiah 14 tells us that those who try to rise above the Most High will be brought low. So I love how you constantly have like physical pictures of going up and falling down. But you also go, okay, but God is above, outside of all of that. Because empires will rise and empires will fall. But Elyon does not.
That's really, wow.
I know. So that's Old Testament. Let's do a little New Testament. Because sometimes you wonder, do these names translate, cross over? And they do. In Luke 1, you have Gabriel talking to Mary, going, hey, by the way, you're going to get pregnant. You're going to name him Jesus. And he calls Jesus the Son of the Most High.
Interesting why that name. Excuse me.
Know.
Like, why, out of all the names of God, that one?
Well, maybe because in Mark 5, when Jesus is walking on the earth, he obviously encounters demon-possessed people. And in Mark 5, he encounters that demon-possessed man. And the demons cry out, what are you going to do to us, Son of the Most High God? And what does he do with those demons?
He makes them flee. Is that the one where he puts them in pigs?
Yep. And then they run off a cliff. So you get even the demons going, oh, we know who you are. But when Paul and Silas in Acts 16, they're walking around a city and a slave girl who does fortune telling, she's following after them and just constantly yelling, these are men of the Son of the Most, these are servants of the Most High God. And you finally, Paul gets irritated enough. I think it's been days of her following them.
Yeah.
He finally turns around and casts the demon out. And then
What you would think would be amazing, but no.
Her owners were not very happy because they just lost all their money.
I can see why she would say it, because there's a ton of gods.
Yeah.
In her culture and her world.
And
so,
probably in her own physical body.
Yeah, sadly. And so to say, but you are, I wonder if that's the way they have to reference him. You're the Most High God. You are it. You are the top.
We know our place.
Right.
We're not on top.
Right.
So you do. So now I'm like, oh, how many other places does this idea, the name Most High, come up from? Because what it tells us is that even those forces of darkness recognize his rank.
That's good.
I know. That's a little
a
comforting
good reminder.
too.
Yeah.
But what we find from studying and knowing this name Elyon, it reminds us that God has authority. Nothing outruns God. So depending on what you're facing today in life, if you need to go, I need to know who's in control. Who is your boss? I need to talk to your boss. You know what? You can talk to God. He is the one who is over every single person or leader in this world, and go, okay, God.
Let's talk.
Yeah.
Because I have to complain about some things.
Yes. Because his position, he is above the chaos. He is not trapped down inside of all of this going, my hands are tied. I don't know what to do. It is swirling out of control. No, he is above it. So I go, okay, God, I need your peace. I need your comfort. I need to know you're here. You're with me while the storm is brewing. I can do that because we know that God offers that security. He is that safe dwelling place. His rule is not fragile. I don't have to worry that, you know what, God, I think this person's more powerful. I think this person could ruin my life. I could think this circumstance could ruin my life. No, God, I can go, okay, I can rest. I can be in the shelter of the Most High.
I think we could encourage our listeners, pray using that name this week and just see the comfort and the peace and encouragement it brings. Like, you are my Most High God. You are the Most High God. remind yourself of that this week as you talk to him. Pray and share this with somebody.
Yep.
Talk to a friend about it who's struggling, a spouse, a loved one.
Your
Encourage.
kids.
Yeah. Encourage them. Hey, God is most high.
Yeah, because you can sit there and go, there's fears, there's government issues, there's just peer pressure, there's just pressure from, I've got to pay bills, I've got to do this. I mean, you just can get so wrapped up, and especially at like 2 a.m. when you wake up because you're perimenopausal and that cortisol is spiking.
Nothing personal there.
No. But just to go, or ask your kids at dinner, what feels big to you right now? How does it help to know that God is higher and bigger? Maybe you need to ask yourself, you just feel unsettled right now and go, what feels so big right now that's leaving me unsettled? Well, now I know that God is higher. He is physically higher. He is rank higher. He is power higher than anything else. And you don't just go to visit him, oh God, I'm coming up to the top of the mountain for a little bit of help, and then I'm going to run back down. No, dwell up there in that place with him.
He who dwells in the shelter of the Most High.
Yes, will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. Because Isaiah 57:15 tells us that he who is on high dwells with the lowly.
It's an amazing, not contradiction, but like you're
almost
most
irony.
High. Yeah, but you're with the lowly.
So just that idea of right now, you know what, God? I'm not powerful. I'm nobody. I'm humble. I'm lowly. I'm contrite. But you are dwelling with me, or you are next to me. Your presence is with me. So to me, I now go, okay, this name of God just got so much bigger than Most High.
Yeah.
I really never stopped to think about what Most High meant.
Yeah.
Okay, fine, Most High, big deal.
Yeah.
But now I see it walked out and I go, oh, and we've touched on this so many different series. We've mentioned our Exodus series, our Jonah series, our Daniel series. I mean, truthfully, Judges in a way, and we talk about things spiraling out of control. So there's just so much. And Acts, we did Acts too. Yeah. There's so much there that it's like, oh, we've been playing around with this, but I haven't had the right name of God to put within those stories.
Right.
So now I do.
We'd love to hear from you, listeners. What biblical stories came to mind?
Yeah.
Or where in your life have you been reminded he is God Most High? It's encouraging just to hear what God is doing in other people's lives. So we get to share with you. Yep. Let us know, how is God showing you he is God Most High right now in your life, in your situation? Let us know. We'd love to hear.
Yeah. Easy way. Sign up for the newsletter. And come back next week because Erica and I are taking turns. We're swapping each week. So she will be giving us a name of God.
It's a different.
Unique. Yes. You'll very clearly see, this is the difference between Erica and Veronica, which is good. This is why we work so well together.
Yep.
So come back next week and we'll talk to you next time.
Bye-bye.